The 2018 Academy Awards have recently been handed out. Last time on Making the Movies, we already discussed the winners in the main categories, and now it's time to look at the people who scored gold for their achievements in the technical areas. We kick things off with Blade Runner 2049, which won the prize for Best Visual Effects.
We knew what could be done, but consciously with Denis and everyone on the film, we reined the effects back in because we felt like too many films had been Blade Runner copies that just turned the excess knob up to like 13, right? So we just turned everything and like pulled it back and made it very analog and dirty and nothing like CG is shiny and clean, not in our movie.
The sci-fi flick also won a second Oscar for Best Cinematography. The award went to visual mastermind Roger Deakins, who was responsible for the lighting and the camera work. Literally every scene in the film looks stunning, even something as simple as a fist fight between Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford.
The challenge was kind of syncing all those elements together, creating a lighting pattern in which they would fit. You know, so we really had to kind of prep how the beats of that song were going to go and how the pace of the fight was going to go. But it's funny, that was one of the least challenging of the whole film.
Director Paul Thomas Anderson's Phantom Thread won Best Costume Design. The film focuses on a fashion designer from the 1950s, so the outfits were definitely breathtaking.
There is a little bit of a pressure, will I be able to do justice to the era? But I proceeded with the research the way we always do and just try to tell a story. And then we had the luxury of working in London too, where there are makers and fabrics and access to Europe that we don't have here.
This is Flemish bobbin lace from the late 1600s. It's very rare, very precious. I rescued it from Antwerp during the war. I've been waiting for the right moment to make something with it.
The Best Makeup and Hairstyling trophy went to the crew from Darkest Hour. They managed to make Gary Oldman look like Winston Churchill, which proved quite the feat.
Kazzy had already designed the makeup and done 5 tests in LA, and he brought the makeup to London to hand over to myself and Lucy. And it was during those 2 weeks where we tweaked the makeup, we finessed it, and we got it to what you see on the screen today. It was that very final day that Joe, Gary, the producers, signed the makeup off and said, that's what we want for Darkest Hour.
You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth!
That impressive performance also won Gary his own Academy Award. Anyway, on to our final winner. The Shape of Water walked away with no less than 4 trophies: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Score, and Best Production Design. Filmmaker Guillermo del Toro was heavily involved in all aspects of the fantasy movie, including the production design.
He had already picked, before we even started, a building that we used for the exterior, which set the tone. It was a late Victorian building. And from there, referenced a movie, The Red Shoes, for an arch window, and then we all worked together to develop that. And these guys brought beautiful wallpaper, kind of like that, to bring the scales into the room. And the palette is a very Guillermo thing. The first thing we did was deal with the palette. So that's why the movie's so color coordinated.
Get them out. Now we move the cylinder into the compressor.
That's it for the 2018 Academy Awards. We'll be back next year. Like what you see? Subscribe to our channel for more exclusive clips.